I felt the same way.
What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6_element_comics. Because comic books are the sixth element. Are the sixth element of hip hop. What? Believe that, y'all. What's up, y'all? Sixth element of hip hop. I'm your host, Reno Noir. This is my co-host over here, Stu Dog, and we have a very, very special guest in the house. My man Eddie, who is the creator of The Birth of Golden Arm.
That's right. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Welcome, sir. Welcome. It's definitely great to have you. We appreciate you coming on and talking to us about your amazing book, man. It is very cool. And listen, you know, we do hip hop and comics. You know, that's kind of our purview, is our thing. And
right.
I realize that this has nothing to do with the rapper You God, aka Golden Arms from Wu-Tang, but all of our viewers are going to wonder that, I promise. And so Getting that out of the way. So this is not a Wu-Tang production, but very cool nonetheless. And that's one of the things that attracted me to it, of course. But it's even better when you find out, you know, what it really is, and it's such a great project, man. So let me put, because I want people to see it, but tell us what the inspiration behind this project was.
So basically, like, you know, the universe is something I've been like developing for like a number of years, like, you know, coming up to like, you know, the best part of a decade now. Like, you know, it's something that I've always kept like within my head. Like, I've always liked writing stories, but like, you know, it's never been something that's that, you know, it's not been something that built together. But once I got to like my mid-teens, that's when, like, you know, the story started to have a progression, and I realized that I was building something a little bit more.
Right.
And like, yes, so basically, you know, there was this entire universe that I'd fleshed out, and I just needed, like, you know, a kind of a flagship character to kind of take it forward and to you know, to focus on, to tell a story through, you know, a certain protagonist eyes. So that's when Golden Arm came about, because I had so much stuff going on this universe, which was like, some of it was like, you know, planet destroying, some of it was like more street level. So I needed someone who lied in the middle. So that's where Golden Arm came about. He was, you know, he's got the arm of a god, but the rest of him is human and vulnerable. So it's got high stakes, but at the same time, you can tell like quite a spectacle story.
Hell yeah, man. That's you know, that's one of the coolest things, when you got the street level guys that go out and do the cosmic stuff. I love it. That's the best.
Yeah.
And can I read your bio to the people?
Go for it.
Slade, what's up, man? Salute. Peace. And so the your bio says, years ago I developed the universe in which Golden Arm resides, but needed the perfect character to show this to the world. And while I love world-beating superhero stories as much as I love street-level superhero stories, Golden Arm is someone who allows me to tell both, his arm being the unstable life force of the gods of Saturn, which gives him god-level strength, as well as being able to morph his arms into melee weapons at will. The rest of him remains human, still vulnerable, still imperfect, but as a trained warrior since childhood, he sure knows how to handle himself. When I first began, I found myself having a story I was desperate to tell, but no way of telling it. Never having been an artist, the story was one I just kept in my head, hoping one day I would have the money to pay an artist to make it. Until one day I began doodling in Microsoft PowerPoint to see how far I got. Time went by, and 100 pages in, my artwork finally started to do my thoughts and visions for the story justice. I then used this new talent as a benchmark and redrawn the whole project to match the outcome. Is something I'm absolutely proud of and extremely excited to show the world. And you should be, man, because it is really cool.
Appreciate that.
The main character, tell us about the protagonist of the story. Tell us about him.
So he's someone who is because like I don't always like a complete, because I feel like for a character to be human, they have to have a lot of conflicting thoughts, and like
Right.
it's never going to be like straightforward. So he's someone who had like quite a troubling childhood, and saw some stuff at a young age, which no kid should, and it's left him like really defensive, um, but it's also like his rage from his childhood left him blind to be led down a path that he shouldn't have, and he didn't ask the right questions, and it's led him to this point where he's having to question everything around him and realize that like he can't. It's dangerous for someone to use him in a certain way.
Right.
So he has to kind of question everyone around him, and realize that he has something to put right, and find the will within himself to put those things right.
Right. Right. Right. That's incredible. I was just looking at the comments here, man. Slade is happy to see Stu back. That's what I'm talking about. Stu's in the building. Stu dog, what were you and Eddie were talking backstage and things. You have something you want to ask him, man.
Yeah, yeah. What's your inspiration for the whole thing, the whole universe, and the
The
characters
whole
that came with it?
the whole universe. It was like I think it was like a culmination of things. It was like I feel like my interest in the kind of in fantasy and sci-fi like are so like contrasting and different, that like I needed that one thing that it's like a musician, like you make the music that you want to hear but you're not hearing, if you know what I mean. Like I wanted to
Right.
make the story that I wanted to see but I wasn't seeing, and it was the kind of
Okay.
perfect blend of all my inspirations, which to name a few, there's like X-Men, yeah, like Dragon Ball Z, like Lord of the
Mm,
Rings, like it's obviously superheroes, DC, uh, the Justice League, you know there's a whole range of things that inspire me, but like there's a certain look and a certain feel that like none of them quite touch on, which like that's what I'm trying to touch on with what I'm doing.
and what is that? What is that one thing that you feel that they're missing that you're bringing to the table?
Well, I think like there's a certain adventure that like like that you can like a certain mythos, like I look out into the kind of solar system, because that's where the thing is based. It's based in our solar system. So like I just think like all these things touch on fantasy and these far away planets, but what if the planets right close to us had all
Mm.
these cultures that we hadn't seen, and like we were hiding all these secrets that we can't see. So like
So,
go on.
oh, it's you kind of like bringing those fantasy worlds that are always a long time ago, far, far away to Earth, to our
Right,
our
yeah,
time.
yeah. Like, yeah, because it was kind of it's kind of like the story is that like so there were like years ago the gods of each planet were all at war, and like there was a big extinction level event which nearly saw the earth getting wiped out. So to kind of safeguard from this, like the god of the earth, like protecting it from like the outer planets, and you know, put like a kind of blanket to protect it so we can't see them, they can't see us. But like at a certain point, they started to open up the borders to that's where we see ourselves now. They start to open themselves up to the other planets in the solar system, which for kind of for profit, basically for economic gain, because because they saw the benefit, but they didn't see once they opened themselves up that like all these planets were in the meantime, they were all trading with each other. They were all sharing knowledge, so they're all a whole level above them. So that when they start coming to Earth, it's like it's a you know it's an unlevel playing field. So Rick Frederick, who's the main character, he's part of a group who tries to understand like these beings that are far more advanced than they are, and try to combat them. So yeah, like I thought it was an interesting thing to think that this is something that, you know, in theory could happen, like at, you know, at any point, like, you know, there could be a secret that, you know, that we're being hidden from. There could be like a whole civilization out there that we're not seeing. Like, so yeah, that was kind of what I found the value I was bringing like through this story.
Absolutely. and for our viewers right now, that wanna get them a copy, where can they get this? Tell them exactly where they can go to find a copy.
So you can get a physical or a digital copy from the anyoneworld.com website.
And I'm putting that up. Oops.
Now, was it hard to find an artist, or did you do the art yourself in the comic? Or?
So I did all the art myself, like because I like you know, part of me wanted to find an artist at a certain point, but before like I had Instagram, I knew about the indie comics scene. Like I was thinking, like, you know, I didn't know where I could find one, or, you know, where to even start. So and I thought, you know, if I'm really serious about it, then like I'll take the time to develop the skills that I need to make it, because I feel like because my vision's so like vivid that only my mind could, like, only I could look at something and think like, right, this is what I was thinking, if you know what I mean. Like, this is exactly how I saw it. So I just knew that I would, you know, keep going until like what I thought the story would be was what I was seeing, like, as I was drawing it out, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we run across people all the. Oh God, I'm sorry. We
I
run
was just
across people
telling
all the time.
the websites at the bottom.
Oh, the websites at the bottom. Yeah, we run across people all the time that write their own comics, and that's the one thing they always say is that they have a hard time finding an artist or somebody to bring their, you know, their rendition to life on paper. And you took the time to just say, skip it, I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah.
So how do you define your art style?
Well, like again, like I went through like a lot of different drawing styles from basically what I was from what I was into. So like there was, you know, like I tried some like traditional comic book like, you know, artwork, like the kind of traditional, you know, what you would normally see on a comic book page. But then like I tried I spent some time drawing basically all my characters in different styles. So like I started off with traditional, and I tried in like, you know, a Dragon Ball Z style, tried in like, you know, different kind of manga styles, and like you know, more cartoonish. And what I thought is that I wanted my kind of artwork to, you know, at whatever level it is, like I wanted it to be recognizable. And I wanted to, because like, you know, I think about like characters from like The Simpsons. Like
Right.
it doesn't matter if it's a brand new character on The Simpsons, it's from The Simpsons just by looking at it, if
The
that
style,
makes sense.
right?
Exactly. So I just wanted to develop a style which was, which was symbolic to me, like whatever level it was. Like I went with more of a like not a cartoonish look, but like a little bit, like a bit more realism than a traditional cartoon. If that makes sense.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, okay, Sato be coming on when she gets home. Yeah, we'll probably still be on Sato. Absolutely. Would you honor us with a reading of chapter 1? If I bring the comic up like this, this is what we do. I'm gonna bring the comic up like this, and we're gonna scroll through it. Now I can read it, but it would be so much better from the author. Just chapter 1.
Why not? Yeah,
Yeah?
why not?
Bet.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bet.
What, the whole chapter?
We could. It's up to you. We go as much as you want to give the people.
Let's give them a little preview. Let's just give them maybe a page or two.
So the birth of Golden Arm. This is the cover. All right, and can you guys all see it? I'm scrolling it up.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is the the credits and whatnot. All right, there we go. The birth of Golden Arm. And tell everybody how to say your name properly.
So my Nigerian name is Edigbe Ubido.
All right.
Right. So chapter 1.
This is dope.
The Satonian legacy. The Great War was one of bloodshed, devastation, and cruelty. Though none saw it coming, none will forget. It all began on the planet Saturn with the coming of the Jupitorians. On their arrival, they brought the chaos and brutality. The Satonians, however, would not be so easily thrown aside. They fought back against the Jupitorians with boundless might. Every able-bodied being fought to their last breath, unwavering to their would-be masters. The war continued for many years. Millions were lost on both sides. Desperation spread throughout the land as the years passed by, causing enemy war tactics become deeply twisted. Misery, rage, and despair unfurled. One man, Alec von Streich, had watched those he cared for most die at the hands of the Jupitorians. The life he once knew turned to ashes before his very eyes, leaving him feeling powerless. He grew desperate out of fear of watching his entire planet dissolve into ruin and death. He isolated himself away from his people and built a weapon like no other, one that pulled together all forms of his planet's most valuable resources, one which would end the war so that what remained of his people could live on. With no form of machine able to launch such mass, he was forced to call upon the Satonian god, Raikomi, to helm the weapon upon his oppressors. Raikomi knew of Alec's plight and could see that his intentions were selfless and sincere. The plan could offer hope of restoring the balance to their world once again and end the torment of his people. With his work complete, the deity arose from the rubble and honed in on the target with precise focus. The people of Jupiter looked up in bewilderment at the night sky to watch it light up in colors of fury as the weapon descended upon the capital. Every soul in view looked up as death greeted them. And with a flash, only dust remained of the people who'd caused so much pain throughout the solar system. With their planet and leaders vanquished, the Jupitorians retreated. All the hate, rage, chaos had been erased. Alec's people had been saved, but at what cost? Joy filled Saturn far and wide, for this terrible war was over. The people broke out in songs of victory and hailed the name of their savior, although he was nowhere to be seen. Instead of accepting his glory, Alec shut himself away from the world, Guilt and sorrow plagued his mind. All he had lost could not be reconciled by fame. The blood on his hands could never be washed away, despite the love and embrace of his people. He stayed desolate for years until he realized his grief would not pass with time, unless his time was filled with happiness, which could no longer be found on his motherland. In order to find happiness, he would need to go far, far away from where his grief resonated. He would need to start a new life and leaving his old one behind. Earth began to accept aliens of many different kinds, welcoming them in the hope that doing so would improve their economy with new lucrative trade deals, with the expectation to make advances in their technology, believing this would allow them to make their stamp on the universe. Alex saw this opportunity to seek out a new life, and he set out for Earth with all but the dullest flicker of hope in his eyes. The wonders of Earth captivated Alak, as he had not before observed any culture beyond that of his home world. He even found himself living as they did. While simply looking for a distraction from his grief, he found something more, something deeper. An unexpected beginning led to more unexpected beginnings. After the birth of his son, as he looked into the eyes of his child, all the past feelings of trauma and anguish melted away. Alec had found true happiness, something he thought was impossible. This feeling remained and carried the family through thick and thin. He had found a new life, and in his mind, his old one was lost until it found him. Would you say that's a good place to leave?
Phenomenal.
So we're about halfway, and that's a kind of setup. So it's up to you guys watching whether you want to carry the story on.
Hey, I mean, let's ask the chat. You guys want to see the rest of it? I mean, listen, because I'm gonna tell you a secret, Eddie. Americans love that accent, bro. It sounds dope to us. Like the way you telling the story. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like a movie, don't it, Stu? Like
that?
Yeah, man. It should sound like a movie. That's hard, man. I like that. Absolutely. Yeah, what they saying? Boom, what an epic intro. Unlike the art style, it reminds me of Archer on Adult Swim. Okay. Yeah. The art style reminds me of Archer on Adult Swim. Yeah. That's
yeah.
I see what you mean. Cook's like, let's go, man. Read some more. Come on, man. It's up to you, Eddie. You want to do more?
Yeah, why not?
Give the people what they want. All right. So now we're sort of out of the intro and into the comic book, right?
Yeah. So that kind of gives you a background of where the story begins.
Right. And then so he's that's his son here.
Right, yeah.
And the mom.
So
right.
So we'll go from there.
The intro.
So
the intro is dope. I like the fact that a lot of comics or a lot of people when they write, they don't do that. Like that's like an epic movie intro. Reminds me of Hellboy. You know how you watch Hellboy and they give that little intro. It seems like that to me. And then you just jump right into the story.
Yeah,
it's there's so much mechanics to this kind of universe that it has to start with something like that to give you a kind of starting point. So because there's another way of doing it where you follow a hero and they stumble across things and you get to learn it that way. But I think to introduce everyone to this universe, then it was important that I got that out at the beginning.
Definitely, especially for an indie, like an unknown thing. So
exactly,
yeah, absolutely, yeah. All right, man. Here we go. Beep beep beep.
Carry on, yeah. Mum, what's this? I can't turn it off. No idea. Let me go ask your father. Alec, whatever this is, can you? Oh dear God, what is it? They found me. Who has?
Oh.
Get Rick and get upstairs. Alec, now Selen, as he gazed into the shimmering gold of his mask for the first time in what had been over a decade, along came the horror that had awoken in his mind, awoken in its mind once more. But this was no time to dwell on the ghost of his past, for as long as he drew breath, he would not let any harm come to the ones he loved most. Coming here was a mistake.
My bad.
The mistake was not killing you before you had a chance to leave that miserable planet. Were you really under the impression that you could lay waste to my people, run away, and all could be forgotten? My mind is plagued by all that fell on both sides of the Great War. But if you are under the impression that you will harm my family, then you are mistaken. Then I will slaughter them once you are dead. Fire.
We blast at him, and he just pulls out a laser shield.
Yeah, energy shield.
Right.
Yeah,
so you start to see the kind of advancements that they've got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they picked on the wrong guy.
Yeah. They fucked up.
How many more of your men must fall at my mercy? You're right. Why should they have all the fun?
Hits him with the flail in the face.
Pathetic. Behold, my brothers, the fall of our long-feared foe. Look upon his bloodied face, and you'll see that he is no divine being. He bleeds, he feels, just like the rest of us. So tell me, Alec, do you feel it? The fear that filled the eyes of my wife as she held my daughter while you unleashed your fury upon them. The overwhelming feeling of helplessness as doom stares you in the face. Allow me to relieve your troubled mind. Alec. Zap. Mom? Mom, no. Dad. There is much you don't know, little one, and for this, I'm so... Huh?
Enter Titus. A new ship arrives.
Yeah.
There's a whole new crew of people. So they hop in, they stab him. All right, here we go.
He's getting away. Leave him. Oh God. Get a medic in now. It's okay, son. They're gone. You're safe. Come. This is no place for a child. Later that night. How are you holding up? My parents. Where are my parents? I'm sorry, son. They didn't make it. They're dead. No.
Oh, even the dad?
What's your name, son? Frederick. And tell me, Frederick, what do you feel? I feel anger. Anger is a powerful thing. If left undealt with, it controls you. But if you add some perspective, and it's what drives you to put things right. I just want him to pay for what he did. He took everything from me. He killed my parents, and he got away. While revenge might seem the best way to honor your parents, revenge only brings more pain. Nothing can take away this feeling, as bad as it is. Pain is something to learn from. It helps us grow and to understand who we really are. It helps us to realize how precious a life really is. I haven't introduced myself. My name is Titus. I have been where you are before, broken, scared, without direction. But I didn't get through it by seeking revenge. I got through it by making sense of it, by making sense of myself. Now, slowly, I'm beginning to put things right. We all are. We call ourselves Meridian. We have the sole purpose of protecting this vulnerable planet of ours and bringing those that come with ill intent to justice. My goal is simply to show you the right path. I invite you to join us. All the revenge in the world could never heal the wounds left by those who have wronged us. But what you can do is make sure that countless other children won't ever need to suffer the same fate. What say you? So yeah, that's chapter 1. and we got chapter 2 coming soon.
And is this the son or is that his enemy right here? This guy.
This is a new character that's going to be introduced.
Okay.
So yeah, the next chapter will be him all grown up, and you'll see where his life has taken him, like through what he chooses.
Yo, shout out Omega and Comic Crusaders and ASAP Imagination.
Definitely shout out.
At the Birth of Golden Arm. This in this epic science fiction tale, follow the legacy of a hero as he becomes who he was destined to be. After war and tumult have plagued species across planets for over a generation, one warrior will leave it all behind to find a family and a normal life. But a dark past never stays in the shadows for long. Now past conflicts begin anew and leave a young boy to find his own path and fulfill the family legacy in the unforgiving reaches of space. Experience the first installment. Yo, I can't wait, man. When is the second one coming?
Yeah, we got an announcement coming soon, so don't worry about that.
Nice, very nice. Man, thank you so much for doing that, man. That was hella cool, man.
It was. Really was.
Yeah,
really was. You did a pretty good. You did a good job on it. You did a good job on the art, man, for somebody that drew it itself. Man. It really was.
Yeah. Like it's the storytelling that I wanted to do. Like, like there are like more because I feel like since I've entered the comic scene, I feel like I've stood out compared to others because one because like I'm my own kind of I don't rely on anyone, so I have to, all my graphics I can produce myself. If I'm working on something, I can show everyone. It's made me a lot more versatile, but at the same time, like I feel like I was saying before, like say if I post a new character, like I think it's quite recognizable, and like but like at the same time it allows me to experiment with a lot of different colors and patterns and stuff like that, like
right.
But like sort of perfecting the formula, but
right. I noticed the this first one is almost got that sort of orange yellow the whole thing, and then like the next one is going to be like blue and green.
Right. Yeah. So like each
color coding.
So each chapter is going to have its own little color scheme in it, and it represents something within the chapter. So so it's a kind of Easter egg, if you like.
Hell yeah, that's dope. Yeah, would you say you're more of a Marvel guy or a DC guy, or are you into indie or Image or what?
So like I'd say DC, but at the same time I'd say X-Men, like because X-Men was my first comic book heroes like that I was really into. But at the same time, like I'd prefer everything DC before Marvel, like after those, like that
after
makes
the
sense.
X-Men. Yeah. When was that? When did you get into X-Men? How did you first?
Just from the cartoons, like the cartoons like during the 90s. Like obviously it was I was born in the late 90s, but like obviously you had reruns and stuff like that.
Right.
I grew up pretty much on watching X-Men, like X-Men Evolution as well, like and obviously the films were all coming out like while I was like a young kid, so yeah, that's why that's when I got into him, like fairly early on.
You like DC's animated stuff?
Yeah, so like the Justice League, like I was a big like John Stewart fan, like
hell yeah,
growing up.
They got the new John Stewart movie coming.
Exactly, yeah. So
wait.
that should be good. That should be good. Yeah, I was gutted when they cut him from. He was going to be in that Snyder cut Justice League film, wasn't he? But they cut him from it.
Yeah, they cut him out.
Yeah.
Would have been a moment.
Sorry,
that would have been a great one. They
said it would have been a moment.
Oh yeah.
It would have been a great one. Well, we always say on this channel, Hollywood's not that smart. and
Yeah,
we got what we got. So
exactly. Yeah,
even the actor that played the role is embarrassed about it. But
exactly.
hopefully they can redeem themselves and come out with this John Stewart movie and make it good. It's supposed to be. I don't know if the TV series is still on because they canceled Batgirl, but we're not going to talk
Right.
about that because we always
Yeah.
talk about Bat. So we're not going to talk about Batgirl. But they canceled a lot of shows. They canceled a lot of
Yeah,
movie
like I
shows and
think a lot of the time it's the announce loads of exciting stuff just to get like stakeholders excited, and then when it comes to it, they're like, oh nah, we're not actually gonna do that. Like,
Mm.
right, and then they let it go.
Right.
So
yeah.
moving forward with this comic, how far are you going to take it? This universe, are you gonna? How far are you
So
wanting to
like
go?
so like this chapter one. So there's six chapters to the birth of Golden Arm, and then I for my next book, like there's three graphic novels basically. The Birth of Golden Arm is like it's 165 pages, I think.
So do you
Then
already
like
have it all written out?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, like because I actually did I like while I was writing it, I did like a Kickstarter for the
Mm-hmm.
full graphic novel, like to kind of get me going. So the whole
Yeah.
thing's like fully written and edited. Um, but like this is kind of joining Imagination, and the Anyone world. That's kind of given me a kind of, instead of giving everyone it all in one go, like I'm able to do things like this, like talk about the each chapter a little bit more in depth, like because there's a lot of thought went into each chapter. So like I would want it to be appreciated, like and take it kind of slowly instead of rushing it all in one. But yeah. So after these six chapters, then I'll move on to the next book, and the next two are going to be a little bit more intertwined with each other. But Golden Arm's still going to be the main character, but not the only main character. So there's going to be lots of other characters, which so the supporting characters are very much going to be main characters in their own right, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it's
Right.
he's
No,
not
I
he's
get it.
not just
Yeah,
going to be the title character. He's going to be part of a larger story. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that.
Mm. Yeah, me too,
Now,
man. Me too.
now some of our viewers want to know: will there be a toy line?
A toy line.
Yes.
Well, I was obsessed with toys growing up, so that
Yeah,
would
yeah.
definitely be the end goal.
That would be dope, man.
That would be
Get
dope.
that
Definitely,
Hollywood
yeah.
option. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I hope to see it. I hope to see it happen, man, because it's definitely cool,
Definitely,
man. And
yeah.
so we normally talk about Star Wars and what shows might be coming up, Mandalorian, things of
Right,
that nature, and or on Wednesdays after the interview. So if you
right.
want to hang out, man, and chop it up with us, you're welcome to chill, man.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I've got an early start, but like I'll stay on for another for 15 minutes and chat with you
Whatever. Yeah.
guys.
Whatever you
Yeah,
can do. Yeah. Whatever you can
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Speaking
definitely.
of
Yeah,
speaking of
I'll be up for that.
speaking of movies, and have you been watching? Have you saw Wakanda Forever?
Yeah, do you know what? I seen that the other night. Yeah,
Yeah.
what do you think?
What'd you think? Ah, well, we want to know what you think. They know what we think, but the
Well,
audience
like
wants to know what you think.
I think superhero films in general of like they lack a bit of passion at the moment. Like and I think Wakanda Forever wasn't so much a victim of that, but it was but the fact that still stands above what like above what we're given at the minute, like so much, that kind of speaks a lot about the films coming out in general. But like yeah, I definitely enjoyed the majority of it. It was slightly slow in bits, but I think that was intentional because it was supposed to be like a bit of more of an emotional, a bit more of an emotional send off, wasn't it? So
Right. Yeah, because
Sorry about that,
Chadwick
guys. My
Boseman.
PC just shut off on me.
Okay, yeah,
right,
because
yeah,
Keeps
Chadwick
doing that
Boseman
reboot.
passed away, and it was kind of hard for them to, move forward with the project, even though they
yeah,
did. I actually got to see the original. I watched the interview and I read some of the original script, and
right,
the movie was supposed to take place exactly like it did, but it was gonna have Boseman come back after the blip. So he came back.
right,
Was the blip was 5 years or 6 years, and then he had a son. And
right,
the whole irony of the movie, without going into too much detail, was that remember in the first movie how he didn't care and he was kind of on the fence with letting everybody know about vibranium, and he was like, "What's the
yeah,
big deal? We're Wakanda," and his father was trying to explain to him like, there's a lot I have to protect, not only Wakanda but
right,
my family as well. So now, 6 years later, his father's gone. He came back from the blip. He has a son, and he has to teach his son the importance of being a Wakandan and things of that nature. And now he has a family to protect. And
right, yeah,
from what I was reading, they were saying that his son, he actually, well, when he had his son living in Haiti, that was one of the reasons why he did it after Namor
right,
attacks and all of that, because he didn't want him to grow up with those pressures of the throne. But they threw the son in there and intertwined it, with the whole movie, and he
yeah,
saw that he had a lot more to protect. And I thought that would have been a lot doper
yeah.
than
That sounds. I feel like the film we got was. I feel like they did a really good job considering like the situation they were put in. But
right to
yeah,
rewrite it,
that does sound that does sound like the better film. But
right? Because it,
yeah,
it makes a
it's
whole lot
just
more sense. It makes a whole lot more
yeah,
sense. Yeah, because in the movie they actually said that he talked to, the mother and was like, "Oh, well, I want the baby to go," but actually, in the original script, after everything that went down with Namor and all of that, he just felt that it would be safer for his son to grow up outside of Wakanda without the pressures of the
yeah,
throne and everything that went on. But then that the irony of the whole thing was he saw that it was his fault, that he
right,
should have
yeah,
done a better job in the first movie to protect um everything that went down, with everything that went down. And they also wrote out what was the name of the guy that betrayed him, the guy that had the ring,
Wakabi,
yeah, Wakabi.
Wakabi is
They
it?
only mentioned,
Yeah,
yeah, they only had one line for Wakabi. And
right,
they were saying that the director was saying that when Wakabi, they had more of a, like they had more, they talked about Wakabi more in the original script, but they
right,
said in the rewrite they only got him down to one line. But they did say that there is going to be, or supposedly, a Disney series for Wakanda, and that he should return in that.
okay, yeah. I,
Yeah.
like like I'm still not too convinced by like the Marvel shows personally. Like because I, I
You
feel
need
like
you need you need to
You're
come
not
co-host
alone.
this show with us. Yeah, you need to
You're
come
not
co-host this
alone.
show with us a couple days a week.
Mhm.
yeah, like yeah, I'm just yeah, like I think there was a lot of excitement and there was a lot of potential there as well, like to flesh out these characters, but like that didn't get too much sunlight on like the films, but like especially like Falcon being one of them, but
Right.
I just don't think they're the right. The I just don't think they've got like strong writers, or like they've not like they say it's going to be like a similar budget to a movie, but then like you don't
Right.
see any of the spectacles or the the thought going on into it, that would be for a movie.
The Obi-Wan show was exactly a perfect example of that, because they build it as
Right.
this big cinematic show. It was going to be like basically a movie, chopped up.
Yeah.
Horrible. It was
Yeah.
no better than a CW show. I mean, and not to talk shit
Right.
about CW shows, but I mean, quality wise, special effects, all
Yeah.
that kind of shit.
Well, that's the
But,
complaint of everybody, that the shows are like, they should be more movie like and less show like
and that's
TV
why I
show.
think that
Yeah.
the new format of the specials, the hour-and-a-half specials, is better. It's a better way to go because they put more into it. That werewolf one was great. The holiday, the
That was
Guardians
great.
one was. I mean,
That was
they
good.
were
They
cinematic as hell.
also they just, and Reno today, they just released the trailer for season 3 of Mandalorian. I finally
Right.
got to
Yeah.
see
I
it.
know. Yeah,
So I finally saw it. I know we're gonna get into it.
we're gonna
I
get
know
into that.
too.
We're gonna
Yeah.
get into that. But
Yeah.
before we do, real quick, I want to just tell everybody about the Kickstarter for the comic. You guys can go there. The URLs down there at the bottom of the screen. It's a 165-page graphic novel about the origin of a superhero based in a universe where all the planets in our solar system are inhabited. And then so the goal was 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Am I reading that right? And you
Yeah. Right.
you surpassed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dumb American. I don't know.
No, don't worry. Yeah.
But birth of Golden Arm. And so it describes it. You guys can get more in detail. You can see more what it's about. You actually preview. Is this season 2 we're looking at here?
Oh, this is
Or
chapter
chapter
4.
2?
This one,
Oh, okay.
chapter 4. Yeah.
So it's showing that he's already gone the distance. The work's been done. And so the different tiers. So tier 1, you get the digital so you get digital copies of both chapter 1 and 2. Chapter 1 is the story before the story, where the history of this expansive universe is divulged. Chapter 2 propels you into the story as we catch up with our main character in current day, and earth-shattering secrets are unveiled. Tier 2, digital complete. You get backing. Tier 2 gets a full digital copy of The Birth of Golden Arm with all 6 chapters and 165 pages of story. And then your physical tiers, you get tier 3, the warm up, where you're going to get your physical copies. Birth of Golden Arm, $25 gets you. For us, it's $25. Tier 5, $34. You get the variant cover. That is dope. I love the variant.
Yeah, I like that.
The variant's hard.
Yeah, like that was an artist that, like, because if you scroll down, like, see this poster here with the green background, you see there.
That one.
So
Or
yeah,
this-
so like I was part of like a community of indie creators, which we all kind of got our characters drawn in this format here that you see, and like it took me by surprise because obviously I think this is like, apart from fan art, this was the first like proper time like I've gone to an artist and asked for their take on my character, if you know what I mean, like. And
right.
after seeing it, I was like, this isn't the end of this story. So, like, yeah. So I went with him. I went over to him and I pitched him the idea for the variant cover, and like what he came back with, because it was it blew my mind personally. Like, and yeah. So he's definitely his name's Jack Brando. Is Jack Comic Art on Instagram, but yeah, like he's definitely someone I'll be returning to, because it was I probably wouldn't have even bothered with a variant cover, like if I didn't come across him, but like
right.
So
and he's got
definitely
the mace, the flail at the end of his fist, so his golden arm can form into any melee weapon that he wants.
Yeah, and it makes, because for what I thought, like when my imagination runs, like it makes it really quick to go from defense to attack. So like you can he can block, but then he can like strike
Yes.
within the same movement, like
Mm-hmm.
just by morphing his arm. And
Right. Right.
yeah, like I think like the main inspiration behind them was the fight scenes, and like there's
Mm-hmm.
plenty. There's like once he gets his arm, there's like I didn't hold back with the fight scenes. Like I was looking into kind of like fight choreography and stuff like that. Like
All right.
with different weapons. And I really like I think in chapter 4, I think there's I think it's about a 7-page fight scene between him and someone else. So yeah,
Nice.
I definitely didn't hold back.
Nice. Nice.
That's great.
So here you have the villains that appear throughout the chapters.
Right, right, right. I love the villains. The villains are my favorite part of
Yeah.
any universe usually. But yeah, that's cool. And stretch goal. So for 600 pounds, Birth of Villainy unlocked. All backers will now receive a free poster of the Birth of Villainy. I like that, man. Would you I know you're having fun drawing the thing yourself. Would you, if you got, the money, or, you got to the point where you could hire an artist, would you want to hire an artist to draw the whole thing, or you want to do it yourself regardless?
No, I think definitely for this book series, I definitely want to do it myself because
Right, right.
I
Good.
yeah I kind of believe in my craft. Like I know I'm getting better, and I think with with this, I'm definitely proud of the way it turned out, and I know I can
Mhm.
only get better. So you know with the next book I want to step it up, and then with the next book after that I want to step it up, because the way the way I am as a as a kind of person, like it's that physical thing that's in your hand after like a lot of work's gone into it. Like if I put the work in, then that makes it more valuable to me, like personally. Like
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you're gonna do it yourself, man. That's cool. That is
yeah,
definitely
man.
cool. Slade
But yeah,
said, what? I'm gonna go on Kickstarter after the show and support this young fella. Do we
yeah.
get a
The
pin or a
kicks
head water
the
bottle?
the
Do we get a
Kickstarter's already gone. So yeah,
Do
head
we?
over to Anyone World, and
That's late as all.
grab it there.
He said, "Do we?" Yeah, they want to know if they get a henna tattoo or a water bottle.
Oh, so they can't go to the Kickstarter anymore.
No, the Kickstarter's already been and gone. Like
Oh,
that was a
oops,
previous project.
my bad.
Okay.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. So all my stuff will be through the anyone .com website now.
Right.
But yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you
we're
can
good.
definitely still go and support the brother, man. Just go to the anyoneworld.com and buy the comic, man.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. So, Stu, do you have any more questions for Eddie before we go
Nah,
into the trailers and the Star
no, we
Wars
got it.
stuff?
Yeah, we got to move on. I try to sneak them in as we, you know.
Right, right, right.
So
Yeah,
Um,
man.
we do got to
well,
move on. We do got to move on.
we do, and we do have. I know, Eddie. You said you wanted to stay for about an hour. It is. We are at
Right.
53 minutes, so I don't know
Yeah.
if you got to go.
Yeah. Like I'm very tempted to stay, but like I've got like an hour and a half drive, like
Oh
in
yeah,
like 6 hours. So yeah,
Oh
I
wow.
probably need
understand.
to
Oh,
get a little bit of sleep.
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't want you
No,
to.
no, I get
Yeah,
it. Yeah, we definitely get
I
that.
appreciate you letting me on, and yeah, it's been fun, and like
Thank you.
No, man, we appreciate
any
having you.
time you want to have me back, then just give me a shout.
We'll
Tell you
do.
what,
We will do.
we'll bring
In
you back
fact,
in the
anytime
spring and
you
see
have
where
any more
everything's at, man.
right,
Yeah,
right,
man,
right.
definitely.
And anytime you have another project coming up, obviously tell Paul, but you got my DM. You just hit me up, man.
Yeah, man.
Anytime you
Yeah,
got something, you're
Yeah,
appreciate
keep
it.
definitely
it coming, man.
welcome to promote
Yeah,
it on
yeah.
the Sixth Element anytime.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
brother.
man.
I appreciate you.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, man. Thanks for
Yeah, it's
coming,
been
man.
good.
Talk soon.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.
Peace,
See ya.
peace. So we have the Mandalorian season 3 trailer and the Bad Batch season 2 trailer, which because
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get that Mandalorian season 3 trailer over here so I can show you guys. But the Bad Batch has a new trailer that just dropped that has plenty of new and familiar faces. But the trailer
Yes, it
first premiered
does.
on Disney Plus, and
Yeah.
it includes appearances by fan favorite characters Captain Rex, Emperor Palpatine, and played by Ian McDermott. You know what I'm saying, and stuff. So it also
And one of
spotlights
those and one of those
a more
characters,
recent.
Reno, to me sound like Wanda Sykes, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of them characters sound like Wanda Sykes, but we'll see.
Interesting. I don't know.
Kind of look like her too. Kind of look like her too.
Wanda, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. But I do know that it does also show us a more recent addition to Star Wars canon, the Wookiee Padawan Gungi, who you guys probably, you might not know about. But unsurprisingly, the Bad Batch's title squad of elite clone troopers featured prominently as well. You got Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair, Echo, all voiced by D. Bradley Baker. He voices all the clones. There it is. Thank you, dude. And the squad's young companion, Omega, is Michelle Ang, is also on hand, and now visibly older than she was in Bad Batch season 1, of course. But the new trailer is one of multiple Bad Batch season 2 sneak peeks that Lucasfilm and Disney Plus have offered fans since the animated series was renewed back in August of 2021. Of these, one of the most recent introduced the new costumes sported by the members of Clone Force 99 in the show's next Bad Batch of episodes. Although the Bad Batch's armor remains largely unchanged in the second season, the red sections are now orange. And this change was reportedly made to signify the squad wearing their evolution as armor. Was the quote. Palpatine is looming large here, right? We got this is the same trailer also confirms Emperor Palpatine's involvement in the season. The legendary Star Wars villain is seen standing at the central podium of the Senate chamber, and while his distinctive voice is heard promising to usher in a new era, Ian McDermott previously fueled rumors that he was set to reprise the Palpatine role by leaving the door open for his indirect return to the franchise. He said, "All I would say about the future speculation is if you're expecting the Emperor to appear soon in flesh and blood, don't get your hopes up." So I don't know. I guess he means animation, but the veteran, stage and screen performer comments on his long history with the Star Wars franchise in a recent interview, which he recalled how originally he believed that his tenure as Palpatine was over following the end of the original, Return of the Jedi. He said when we did Return of the Jedi and I was thrown down that chute to galactic hell, I said, does he come back? And Star Wars creator George Lucas says, no, he's dead. But I digress. Star Wars Bad Batch Season 2 on Disney Plus will come out January 4th, 2023, and will run for 16 whopping episodes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
So let's
That's what I'm talking about. Don't skimp on the Bad Batch. Don't skimp on that.
Give us the Bad Batch.
But anyway,
we have a trailer for you guys. So hopefully we can get through it. Boob tube. All right, here we go. Bad Batch Season 2. Check this shit out. It's phenomenal.
We went over the plan 5 times. I got the package, didn't I? We need a pickup.
Hang on. Grab the light.
So, this is the top team. The rogue clones on the run from the Empire, huh?
Hello.
How juicy.
The Empire's growing stronger. We should be doing more.
You want to really be free? Then pull off this heist, and you can have a future.
Rumors are more and more clones have been questioning the Order.
Then they're traitors, like the Jedi.
You all gave up everything because of me.
We made the right choice, Omega. But there are others out there who need our help.
What sort of treachery is this?
Stay back!
We are not the enemy. The Empire seeks to establish peace and order throughout the galaxy.
Peace. Peace was never an option.
We're soldiers. We do what needs to be done.
Move. You know what makes us different? We make our own choices. What do you need, Rex? Any chance I could use you for a mission?
Parents, The Bad Batch. New season streaming January 4th, only on Disney+.
Dope. That's dope. Dopeness. I'm excited too, Slade. I'm excited too. And what can I say? But that shit was dope.
Yeah.
But I can say more.
January? What are we getting at January?
January 4th. January 4th.
Thank you. Thank you. I have to wait all month. I have to wait all month. That's just gonna be exciting.
All we gotta do is get through December, man. And, because there's
now
not.
You see what I mean? Nah, ain't nothing on it. Hey, shit, I mean the one chick sound like Wanda Sykes.
Yeah. But I don't
look like it too.
I know.
I look like it too.
Oh shit. But yeah, in the footage, man, you do see, the return of the title crew and young Omega as they run down the beach trying to escape those huge crabs, and then we get the quick turn through as Commander Cody casually mentions that many clones are starting to question the Emperor's Order 66, which killed the vast majority of the Jedi. And I'm so glad that they're touching on this and going into this. You know what I mean? Because we know that the clones were down with the Jedi. I mean, they followed the Jedi. The Jedi were the general of each clone little troop. So they had a general that they followed. They all followed
right. They fought with him. So they had a bond. Yeah, they had a bond with the Jedi. Yeah.
And but as clones, they were implanted with coding, DNA coding that would be able to, if he said Order 66, their brain's just gonna, like a switch, and they're just gonna kill the Jedi. But later, are they gonna remember doing it? Are they gonna question it? This is a question that I think all Star Wars fans have definitely wondered. And this, so this trailer, shows that they're going into that conversation, which is dope. And it does also shows off the return of Gungi, the Wookiee Jedi again, along with Rex, Bail Organa, and another sinister appearance again from Palpatine. And it looks like the stakes are really gonna go up a notch for this one. And January 4th. But it won't be the only new Star Wars show that's coming next year. We are also getting Mandalorian season 3, which lands on Disney Plus in March. So not so beautiful. Like, we're gonna get like 16 episodes of Bad Batch and roll right over like a month later with Mando 3. Like, I could be more stoked. This is
great.
Yeah, man.
There is a Wookiee in there is using Force power.
I'm saying that's Gungi. That's what I'm saying. That's Gungi. That's the Wookiee that is a Padawan and was a new character. And that I was talking about earlier. Here's Sada coming in. Sada, what's up, Sada?
Now, is he? Did they say whose Padawan he is, or?
I don't know anything about like the backstory of it. I don't know if it's from the a show or if it's from like a comic or what it's from. But the a slight delay from the original February release window with Mandalorian, and then the live action show Ahsoka is expected at some point in the year as well. So beyond that, we have also the Acolyte, which is Star Wars' first Sith-led project, as well as Skeleton Crew starring Jude Law to get excited about, and then there's Andor season 2 coming, and so we've got a lot of great content coming from Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I heard they got a lot of. Star Wars projects on the table. Yeah, a lot, and it should be. I'll be honest, Reno. It should be. I mean, that was the whole reason for Disney Plus, for original content.
I mean, they bought the IP,
right, and to expand Star Wars to give us the stuff we asked for, but we haven't gotten anything we asked for yet.
Well, but the new CEO is a little bit more on our side. He's not the new CEO; he's the old CEO back because the current CEO, Chapek, was just not giving a fuck what any fans cared about and just doing whatever Kennedy wanted to do and just not really. But this new, the old guy Iger is back at Disney, and so I think that he's going to care more about what the fans say. But yeah, we think let's take stock. We got Bad Batch, we got Mandalorian, we got Ahsoka, we got Andor, we got Acolyte, we got Skeleton Crew, we got
shorts. That's already out. The shorts are out. Star Wars shorts.
The shorts. Out. Oh, and then the shorts. So there's lots of new content. Lots of good shit.
But I heard there's more, but they kind of toned it back because the new CEO came and was like, that's too much in 1 year that they were trying to bring out, and he wanted to stretch it out and give it more quality. He said that he wanted to make more quality Star Wars products. I read a whole interview. He also said that he wanted to remain neutral in this culture war that's going on right now in the U.S. So he said that there will be no more,
as he should.
He said there will be no more references to transgenders, anything like that, or gay. Said everything is just going to be neutral because he said Disney's always been neutral, and he said that being is that you got a lot of young children watching these shows. He wants to keep it neutral because he wants to keep. He doesn't want to be on. Like
he wants to let parents seem like he's on of what they're going to show their kid, what the kids are going to learn.
And he said he doesn't want to be seen like they're on anybody's side because he said if we show it, it's like we're on their side. But then you got people that be like, "What about us?" So he said in order to appease everybody,
that's why you're supposed to stay neutral.
Right, he said we're staying neutral, and he gave a good example, which was Buzz Lightyear. And I know a lot of people out there be like, "Oh, well, it's about money." Well, you're damn right it is about money, because when they did Buzz Lightyear, they had a same-sex couple in there that had a child, and a lot of countries didn't show it, didn't want to show it, couldn't show it, didn't show it, which means that that's revenue they lost in those countries because of the decision they made to put that in there. So he said that
as far as them pandering to certain communities for profit, that's not really why, because they don't make a profit, they lose money doing it.
Right.
So it's just not smart. I get why they want to do it, and I understand the need for diversity and the need for people recognizing themselves in characters and things like that. But it's like many have said, there's a place for certain things and certain stuff. This ain't the place for it. Like, stay neutral, stay out of it. Don't talk about heterosexual either. Don't talk down against transgender or any gay people. Just you don't have to display it either. You can stay neutral in between without offending anyone.
Anybody,
and give people quality content that's not offending anyone. You can do that without pandering and without picking a side.
Right. I believe that.
And that's,
I believe that.
yeah, that's what we should do. Because there's times and places for everything. It's just Disney, not saying that Disney's, they're wholesome and that's not wholesome, because I don't believe that way either. What I'm saying is that Disney's just neutral.
Well, he gave a few
asexual.
instances. Yeah, he gave a few instances. He talked about the Little Mermaid, and he didn't go into detail. He just was saying the only one he kind of went into detail about was Buzz Lightyear. That was the example, and then he went on to give other examples, like he said, the Little Mermaid, Buzz Lightyear, and there was another one. I can't remember what the third one was, but he did say that Buzz Lightyear, there were certain countries they just were like, no, we can't show that, or they had to cut that part out and show a different, and do something different. But he just said they're not doing that anymore. Yeah. Or moving forward, they're not doing.
And moving forward, but
yeah, they're just neutral.
So this is The Mandalorian season 3, but before we watch it, Sata, what is your POV on the convo, or do you have one?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if it's really possible to be neutral in this current state and time. I feel like that's impossible. I don't know, because it's like, what does neutral look like? What does that even look like? Honestly, I'm trying to visualize what that looks like.
Yeah, I guess it just looks like.
I guess it looks like the movie. I guess it looks like the movie E.T.
No sex. Yeah, no sex.
Yeah, I guess it looks like the movie E.T. or Goonies, or it just looks more, because you gotta understand something. There's not gonna be. In the 80s, we had certain revolutions in culture, but even in the 60s, but people came up with their own platforms and expressed themselves. They didn't do it on the major platforms didn't do it. I mean, like, yeah, the blaxploitation. I mean, that's just what it was. And that was the platform where they made all those black movies, where we had Shaft, and not Shaft, but we had Coffee and all of that. So that was Truck Turner, all of those little Blackula, all those low budget. That's what they were. I mean, now everybody is FOMO right now, fear of missing out.
Right.
So nobody wants to be left out, and leaving you out doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge you. It's just leaving you out means that we're letting everybody make their own choice. And if you are so forward thinking with your progression, then you would be okay with everybody making their own choice.
That's true. And Sada, to your point, what do you think it could be neutral if they just eliminate sexual references of either hetero or homosexual? Which by the way, they don't do. It's very heterosexual. There's lots of kissing princes and princesses and things like that. So it definitely is a heterosexual-esque.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, for it to be neutral, like, that's a whole different thing than what we've had in the past. I just feel like, I mean, like,
genderless.
Like, I just feel like, I don't know, like, it's just the way that they go about it. It's always so forceful. It's just, and I think that's why people are just so turned off by it, because it's so forceful. Rather than it just being, and then it's like, okay, whatever, we move on. Like, I don't know, like, they could do it, but they never do it in a way where it's just like, it just happens. It's always in your face, and the, like, I don't know, you lose focus of what you're watching or what you're consuming. So I don't think there's a way to really be neutral. I just feel like in this day and age, that's kind of impossible. Because, like, what does that really look like? Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know what neutral looks like for Disney. Like,
so instead of neutral, it's like don't just maybe tone it down, maybe play it to the back, or make it not so much the focus.
Right, yeah, right. like in Buzz Lightyear, for instance. If I
You
don't know
can
if y'all
still
seen the movie,
represent
instead of having
all people
instead of having the couple of
without
the
making
same
it
sex
appropriate.
couple, they could have just said that the girl had a mother and a father. They don't need to show who the mother and father was, but they can show the mother and father. They can say, well, she can say, well, my mother and father died, but they just never show. Like they never show the parents, the actual parents, or they
What
just
if it's two
keep it
fathers or two mothers?
right. And that's that. We can leave that up for the audience to interpret, basically.
Yeah, I feel like if they kind of how like they did it in Multiverse of Madness, but not like that because that was bad. But when they had America Chavez's mothers, like if you just like drop it and then move on, it's like okay, that's there, it's a thing. But if you do it in the way that they did it, where like they had them foolishly die by way of her being scared by a bee, like that just it's like just stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just to be neutral is it's just a very weird way to put it because I don't like I have no idea what that looks like. I don't really know if that looks like anything that would satisfy everyone. No one's like everyone's not going to be satisfied. That's just what it is. So
right.
uh
So I think when he means neutral, I just think he means
Mhm.
that they just won't be putting those references in there or trying to include everyone. Just keeping it normal with the way it's supposed to be, man and a woman, or keeping the Christian values or the religious values intact and just moving forward. I mean, everybody
So just
knows,
how it was before.
yeah, just keep the religious values intact and moving forward. I mean, you can interpret any way you want. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't have to watch it. But I will say one thing. Nobody ever had a problem with Beauty and the Beast. Nobody ever had a problem with Sleeping Beauty. Nobody ever had a problem with Princess and the Frog, Fox and the Hound, Bambi. None of that. It's just that now that they're including it in there, you're getting a lot of people saying that they just don't want to see it. It takes away from the story, and there's just no place for it. Not saying that they don't, like they're bashing, but there's just no place for it. And it, like you said earlier, it just takes away from the story. Like if you were gonna do that, then you just need to do a whole series on that, and then let the people who are into that watch that, and then
I feel
that
like
way
I mean
everybody
you
has a
don't even
choice.
like I feel like that's the thing, like you don't even need to do a whole series on it or whatever. Like it's just like if you want to like drop it, then just just a drop and then move forward. Like it doesn't have to be a whole thing. The problem is they make it a whole spectacle and they make that
Right.
the character's entire being is their identity, and we know that that's not good writing. That's not really a character. So that's really the problem for me. But yeah, I don't know. Oh,
Because
because there are
because well,
issues. There are other
you
issues
could,
with the older Disney movies outside of the that has nothing to do
right.
with
Well, I can
the
say this
sexes
much.
or whatever.
I can say this much. Whenever you put a same-sex couple in there,
Oh, Reno
they
said
never.
he'll be back ASAP. Something
Yeah, I just
about
got that his Wi-Fi.
okay, but
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
The one thing I can say is if you put a man and a woman and they have a family, there doesn't have to be any sexual references at all. So like when you have a same sex, it seems like whenever you have a same sex, there's always a sexual reference
Right now
to
that I can
something
agree with, and I hate
something that they did
that.
right. And that's why I think he said they're gonna stay neutral because it doesn't involve I mean, you don't have any children and I do, and I can tell you that when you have kids, sometimes you gotta answer that question. Or your kids say,
Right.
wait a minute, why is it you be like, oh son, this is not the time or the place to talk about that, or let's just enjoy the show. You don't A lot of parents don't want to explain that to their kids right away. Or when they're 3 years old. Or they have them wondering when they're 3 years, or have them influenced by that when they're 3 years old. So you gotta when we let children get a hold of YouTube, I mean, look what we got. I mean, we let them just watch what they want. We took the ratings off and we kind of eased back the ratings. When I was a kid, listen, you better not. I would have never been able to watch YouTube. And my mom would have been like, "What? What is that?
Would have been
Turn
YouTube
that off."
Kids. YouTube Kids.
It better have kids on the top, because if it didn't, I'd have been in trouble. So when you go neutral, I think basically, like I said, that they just gonna just take it back to the basics. Because like I said, you don't have to have any type of sexual orientation or references when it's a man and a woman.
Right, but is that really neutral though? Like, would that be considered neutral, or would that just be considered what it was before?
No, it would be considered neutral, because now you're just saying, look, this is everybody, no matter who you are on this planet, was born from a man and a woman. So that's just what they're saying. That's neutral. And I'm not saying that we have to include everybody in the movie to make it a good movie, because everybody doesn't have to be represented. Everybody hasn't been represented. And I don't understand why everybody has to be represented now. To me, it's a total loss to the audience, because we have to sit and have a conversation about it right now.
It's just the way that it's done. Like you said, like I don't know, like I don't know why it is when it's a lesbian couple or it's a gay couple, like there's always a reference to sex. They can never just like be like it would be for a straight couple. And I don't understand that. Like even with Harley and Ivy over there with Harley Quinn, like their whole thing is nothing but sex. And it's just like, that's not really interesting. And I just don't get the appeal for them as a couple, not because they're two women, but because all they do is talk about sex, like, or they reference sex. Like, that's not really, interesting. And I don't get that. But yeah. So, I mean, as far as that, like, keeping the idea of sex out, then yeah, I mean, that could go for anybody. I think they've been doing that, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just the way that they do it. So maybe they could just hit pause until they just figure it out. I don't know. Just hit pause. just hit pause. Just hit pause.
We'll hit pause on that.
Oh, it's just like, no, it's just not working. It's just not working. So just hit pause, maybe even hit the stop for right now, because it's obviously not working with how you're portraying it on screen, with how you're bringing them on screen, and you're actually doing them a disservice anyway. So just stop. just stop.
Just let it go. Huh? Let it go. Huh? Just let it go. Have you been watching Wednesday?
Yeah, I did. I watched it. I binged it in a day. It's okay. It was okay. I liked the beginning. By the time we got to the end, it was pretty muddled. It was pretty it's kind of all over the place for me. I didn't really like the ending too much. Like they set up I didn't like it. Like they set up season 2 with like a stalker plot, but my thing is like, who cares? Like the bug-eyed monster is on the loose again, and I care more about that. But then it's like, why is he on the loose? Like, you just captured him and he was out of his restraints in like 10 seconds. Like, I don't know. I guess it was just a way to make sure that actor comes back. But like, I feel like he was a 1-season villain. Like, we don't need him again. So I don't know. No. Yeah, like, I don't know.
So what do you think about the girl that portrayed Wednesday? I don't think she did.
I think she did good. I think she did really good. Everybody's kind of obsessed with her right now, which... Oh my God, all over my Instagram Explore page, like every 2 posts, it's about Wednesday. And I'm like, oh my God, fewer posts. I don't want to see her, but everybody's obsessed with her right now. She did good. Yes, I feel like she took influence from like the 80s and stuff like that. And Goth Kids, she said she took influence from that. And I feel like that showed in her performance. So I didn't mind it. I thought she did a good job. I think I like the one from the old movie, Christina Ricci, is that her name? She played Wednesday when she was a kid. I think I liked hers a little more than Janice.
Yes. Yeah. She was the gardener.
Yeah. She ended up being the villain or whatever. I don't know. That was so confusing, but yeah. What did you think about Wednesday? Did you watch it?
Yes, I did. I watched it all. I binged it. I binged the whole thing. I did like you did. I binged it, and I was my only complaint because I never really have complaints because either I like it or I don't.
Right.
Is that I didn't like the portrayal of Gomez and Morticia because I watched the original series.
Yeah.
And I just didn't think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Tim, and I like Tim Burton. I'm a big Tim Burton fan.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I enjoyed it even more. But I think maybe he was shooting for an older version of. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just I was confused when it came to them too, because
like I think Morticia, she had some potential, but Gomez, I felt like I don't think that was the right casting.
No,
I just didn't like his performance. I didn't like it.
Nah, I didn't either. And Gomez is like, I don't know. I can't even explain. But they're very much in love. When you see them on the and they're so in love that the rest of the world, they're oblivious to the rest of the world.
Right.
And I just didn't get that feeling from these two. I didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
Man.
I didn't feel any type of chemistry either. I was like, oh, okay, I guess.
Right. And Gomez is more happy go lucky unless he's around Morticia. So he's more, the way he talks and presents things.
Yeah.
Like when he let Thing out the bottom of the car in the original Thing, he would have just been like, he'd be like, don't worry. I have something that'll keep an eye on her right now. And then, he makes a big, like Gomez makes a big presentation about everything. And he just was like, don't worry, my love. I have a secret weapon. I'm like, really? I'm like, really? Like it was like they were all trying to kind of be like Wednesday a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas in Gomez, like he's like very presentations with, he'll be like, I have Thing, and we're gonna let him go. Like he would just, it would have been a really big presentation, and he would have did it. But we just didn't get that. Didn't get it.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at him. I was like, oh, okay. I just felt like they said, all right, when Wednesday's on the scene, just, call her, my scorpion, my viper, any animal that's like poisonous or whatever, dark. Just do that. I felt like they gave him the most like generic material to work with.
And he didn't have a cigar.
Gomez
always
where was the cigar?
Right. He
That's
always
the
had
one
a
thing
cigar,
I remember is the cigar. Where was that?
I had no cigar.
Welcome back, Reno.
Yes, welcome back.
Well, this ISP, this internet service provider that I'm using, is gonna get a stern talking to tonight because my internet keeps going off. It just keeps going off for no reason, and then just cycles through a bunch of crap and then comes back on. But it's like in the midst of a live show, or I'm doing something important that, I mean, what if I was working? What if I was, it's not.
I'll call and get prorated, sir. I'll be like,
yeah, exactly. No, I've done it before. Like, y'all take any charges for this day's amount of charges. Take that off my bill because I didn't get no service today, and they do it. But Wednesday, you guys talking about Wednesday, right?
Yes. We're talking about the show.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Just a little bit of it. And it's not bad. Like also, I never knew this, but the main character's name, Wednesday, is inspired by the line, Wednesday's child is full of woe. I guess that's like a poetic line. And so that's where they got it because, everybody. But Wednesday itself is generally a delight. Thanks mostly to Jenna Ortega. She's good. Having outgrown her Disney Channel days, she's definitely making the now high school age daughter the cool, humorless goth sociopath that Wednesday is. But yeah, it's a Netflix series. It's more kooky than spooky, I will say, if that makes sense.
It's like,
the original show was like that.
Yeah. Then that's what you get with Wednesday.
The original. If you ever watched the original series, it was like that. It had a cult following. People loved it, and that's what it was. It was more kooky than
This is Tim Burton too, and he sets a great visual tone. But yeah, he's always does that too. I mean, and you're right, Stu. The show was definitely more kooky than spooky. You know what I'm saying? But So they're sticking to that. I mean, in that way, I guess. But yeah, it's a mix of like, that comedy and that macabre, sort of Edward Scissorhands, kind of thing. It's Tim Burton and teaming up with Smallville producers, and who knows something about building a TV show around an extraordinary teen, and but what I saw of it so far, like Wednesday gets enrolled in a new private school, the Nevermore Academy, based on the Edgar Allan Poe, I think Nevermore, the Raven. But she tells the headmistress, who is played by Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones, who played the big knight chick.
Yeah, Rena. She said, I read an interview. She said that this is the sexiest she's ever felt.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
I just
good
laughed.
for
I just started
her.
laughing. Right. I just started laughing whenever. I was like, really?
Yeah, because in Game of Thrones, she definitely did not get to play sexy at all. No, but she I mean, she's a huge lady. But she's got style and she's cool and she's but anyway, she's good and she's a great actress. I liked her in Game of Thrones. I've seen her in a couple other things. She's great. But so Wednesday tells her that they haven't built a school strong enough to contain me or something like that, and then to hold me, and then there's like a supernatural kind of vibe to it that's much more that's like kind of like Hogwarts, X-Men Academy, kind of school thing, kind of thing. But I don't know, not only does she have to deal with her psychic abilities coming about, that's I think that's kind of new to her character too. I don't remember her being psychic in the show or in any of the older movies or anything, but maybe I'm wrong. But then she's got like strange visions that she's having, and there's a mystery that sort of emerges and turns turns her suspicious, kind of way into like sort of an ill-tempered, Nancy Drew, trying to ascertain who's responsible as the clues are coming, to circle back to her own family, which is obviously what we want to see. We want to see a Wednesday show, not about regular kids at a regular school. We want to see some Addams Family stuff. And it's obviously a fairly derivative mashup of genre elements, but it works, in part because the smaller ingredients, like Catherine Zeta-Jones and Luis Guzman as Wednesday's parents, Morticia and Gomez, to her sidekick Thing, who obtains a dress that she wants by employing her 5-finger discount, and the writers extract a great deal of, I think, comedy from the extremity, the hand, that's kind of fun. But I don't know. It's hard for me to really talk about the show. It's not really for me. It's not the kind of thing I'm into. But I can see it. It's a good, if you like it, if you're into it, it's a good show. It's well done.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's like a step above Riverdale. I think I wanted a little more spook with my kook. Like when I saw the Tyler, the bug-eyed monster, spoilers, I guess. I was spoiled before I even watched the show. But anyways, when I saw that and I saw his eyes and I was like, okay, this is kind of laughable, but I thought he was supposed to be scary. Like, I don't know. Outside of that, it's okay. Like I don't think it's anything I would rewatch. If I do season 2, I would watch the first episode and the last episode because I think everything else would just be fluff for me.
Yeah,
that's just me. But yeah.
Yeah, like throwing in like having Christina Ricci play, an older, play a character, little Easter.
Yeah, I'm surprised she wasn't part of the family. I thought they would, do it like that. Maybe not have her be like Morticia, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess the way they did it was fine. I don't know. It was fine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, basically they're just trying to bring some new property to the Addams family, which has been done, you know, a zillion times, but it's, you know, it's easy to do without really altering its, you know, DNA too much, and it's a one of those built-in fan base kind of things. So you just pop it up, and you're gonna have some viewers, and people are gonna like it. It's basically what it is. Yeah, but if you're a Tim Burton fan, you know, it has definite merits, even if it's not, you know, you're not a Wednesday fan. It's cool, but yeah, that's the way I see it. But where were we before I got rudely interrupted by my asshole internet?
We had wrapped up the Disney conversation.
Mandalorian. We were gonna show the
Mandalorian. We're gonna go to Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Let's run this piece and talk about it.
This is the one that you saved? You are as its father. A clan of two. But you have removed your helmet. Then you are a Mandalorian no more.
Your cult fractured our people. Where were you then? Did you think your dad was the only Mandalorian?
All right, kid. Hang on. You ready for an adventure?
I think it looks dope, man. But is that not the same trailer that we saw? Oh, okay. I think this is maybe a new one, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was the one we saw some time ago, right? Was that not the same one, or was it different?
It's the newest one I could find. Stu, you said you just saw the new one. Is that the new one?
That's the new one. That's the only one I've ever saw. That's the only one I've ever saw. They say that's the teaser one, and it was released on Disney. Disney released that one.
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, we see
Yeah, I
we
don't
see Grogu flexing his force powers a little bit. It's cool, but now that audiences know to expect the return of you know, Disney Plus's original live action Star Wars series, The Mandalorian, this March, the anticipation and excitement can begin to properly build now. It's definitely as part of Brazil's Comic-Con experience, the producers, you know, Favreau, Filoni, they were there to you know, via video to share a brand new look at the upcoming season, which features the Mandalorian himself as well as, you know, the tiny force sensitive son Grogu has some new skills that he's showing off, and the trailer is an extended like version of one of the it's an extended version of the one that was released before, I think, because there's some new stuff in it. I definitely, there's some stuff that I don't remember, but it looks like the same trailer. It's definitely the same speech that we hear her saying, you know, you took off your helmet, blah, blah. That was in the original, but I guess it's an extension of that one that was released at the Star Wars Celebration. And this one sort of focuses more on what's next for Mando. And, you know, after making the conscious decision to remove his helmet, and, you know, as we've seen previously, he decided to go to Mandalore, which is where he's from, because apparently he has to go there to redeem his Mandalorian-ness now that he's removed his helmet.
He has to bathe in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Minnetonka, right, exactly, and to refresh his shit. But the trailer definitely also provides a quick glimpse of Coruscant, the monkey lizards, and it teases several Mandalorians working together as a team, because there will be that whole new side of the Mandalorians, Bo-Katan and those other, they're sort of progressive, future, modern rather, Mandalorians, and they're trying to change the way, the old guard did things, and they don't mind taking their helmets off. That's no big deal to them. And but Grogu's also going to keep exploring the Force, so because he's been shown, pushing a figure out of a cave here, and then Bo-Katan, she confronts Mandalorian, about his absence during the war, and
yes, his kind.
Where was he, and sort of lays out his honorless future for him. Production wise, the series seems to be reaching an all-time high. Like this is cinematography level. More locations, mind-blowing cinematography. This
it's pretty.
Yeah, it's filmed. I think it's the status that we expected Marvel and Star Wars shows on Disney Plus to be. This is what I expected them to be. It's just not, Disney, Star Wars, Marvel. You're not just a regular little, TV station, okay? You're the biggest in the world. You should be putting out content that portrays that, you know what I'm saying? And we're finally getting there. But the new season will also feature a lot of returning cast members. Emily Swallow is back as the armorer, and Paul Seung Lee as Captain Carson Teva. You got Omid Batali as Dr. Pershing, and Amy Sedaris as Peli Moto. According to Jon Favreau, though, the new season will be much larger in scale than the previous seasons, which will include even more Mandalorians and teamwork and things like that. But it'll be this will be the next live action series to hit Disney Plus after Andor. But Bad Batch will definitely be coming out first, and then Mandalorian. But as far as live action, we haven't seen since Andor, so this will be dope. And this might, hold on, because I want to make sure that we got the right one. Yeah, that's the right one.
It's the only trailer I've ever seen. Yeah, but
I think it's the one from some time back. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, either way you look at it, I can't wait. It does. Mm-hmm. And that's coming from somewhere that's not a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Who? Sada?
Yeah. It does look good. It looks really good.
Yeah. I think if you're not a Star Wars fan, I think you could still definitely dig it.
Yeah, Sada, if you watch the first episode of Mandalorian, you will be hooked for life.
Just the first episode?
Well, yeah.
Just one episode.
That's the one. That's the pilot. That's the one. That's the hook. It gets you, reels you in.
I gotta watch it in order, because I've seen, and because my dad, he watched part of it, and I saw an episode, and it wasn't too bad, but it was in the middle, so maybe I have to start at the beginning.
Yeah. You gotta watch it from the beginning, because but you'll definitely like. I know you'll like the Ahsoka stuff. That's really cool. But most of it's good. But I mean, being a fan of Star Wars, it definitely helps. But I don't think it's like necessary, 100%. And it shouldn't be. Any good, what do you call it? Any good, anything is gonna appeal to anybody. But and then the next spinoff, The Acolyte, will be the franchise's first Sith-led series and Sith-led story, which I'm very excited about the prospect of that. Not so excited about the people behind this one or the era it's set in, and so I don't know, because it's going to be set in the High Republic era, which is totally. I don't consider it real. I don't consider it canon. It's not even real. It didn't even happen. Okay.
Oh no,
it's not even canon. I don't accept it. It's kind of like the sequel trilogy, but yeah. So it's around a century before the events of A Phantom Menace, which is the episode 1 of the prequel trilogy. And so it's a prequel. But you know, the Acolyte has it's got a cast that they keep telling me is star-studded, but I don't know any of these people.
Always be worried when they lead with that.
Yeah,
that means they're more focused on the cast than the quality of the story.
Than the
i.e.
story.
Eternals.
Right.
So
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
And so, but so it's Amanda Stenberg from Squid Games. Then you've got Keen, which is the Matrix's Carrie Fisher, Carrie Ann Moss, sorry, is playing her. So you got Carrie Ann Moss, Jodie Turner Smith, who I think I think that's who played Sansa in Game of Thrones. I'm not 100% sure. And then Manny Jacinto, Rebecca Henderson, Charlie Barnett, and Dean Charles Chapman. When I hear these names, I don't think star-studded cast or ensemble. I don't really know these names, and especially if they're all like teens or 20-somethings, they're definitely not going to be like.
No, it's star-studded. I mean, no, because I know most of the names that you said.
Okay.
Yeah, it's star-studded. They're just not as mainstream, I guess, as the ones you may know.
Well, you could say that about Empire. When we got by the time Empire came, it was star-studded. It wasn't the first one, wasn't, but the Empire, because everybody was a huge star by the time the second and third movie came.
Yeah, and Jodie Turner Smith, it's not who I was thinking of.
She was in Queen and Slim. Is that the name?
Yeah, she was in Queen. Yeah, she was in Queen.
Yeah, British girl, and she so she's dope. But yeah, it's the I don't know, when I hear ensemble or star-studded cast, I think big movie stars or something like that, but I do like her, and I do like Carrie Moss from Matrix. So again, I hold out hope because of the fact that it's a Sith show, which that's what I've always wanted. But it's like imagine if your favorite thing that you've always wanted is being made by someone who just sucks to you. But yeah, it's a mystery thriller, I guess, and it will see the former Padawan and her old Jedi master on the case of a string of crimes, which leads them to encountering sinister forces. And so the showrunner said, I was actually very intrigued by why George Lucas had started us at that particular point of the Phantom Menace's influence on the show. I kind of wondered, but what happened to lead up to this? That's kind of where my Star Wars fan brain was like, how did we get here? And why are the Jedi like this? When they are in power, why are they acting this way? And how is it that they're not having the reaction that you would think they would to Anakin's presence and what Qui-Gon is saying about how he passionately feels about training him and bringing him into the fold? That's a great example of what a Star Wars fan thinks about the High Republic. It's like, what? Like, why are they? This doesn't make sense. George Lucas didn't set this up. This isn't how the Jedis act. That's why I don't really like it. It's made by people who don't understand Star Wars. And they're just like, they think that if they add lightsabers, Jedi, and then just tell any story they want, any way they want, it's Star Wars. That's not, I mean, come on. Way deeper than that, bro. Come on.
It is way deeper than that, yeah.
It's ridiculous, bro. And that's why we get this crap. And that's why I'm having no really, like, I'm not, like, super excited for this show, because I'm sure it's going to be more of this crap. But it doesn't have a release date yet. But, yeah. So I'll just be watching Mando and Bad Batch, and I'll be happy. But that's a lot of Star Wars content we got coming. So, and speaking of Star Wars content, Stu, you know what I'm saying? We talking about Jedi Survivor, the game. I can't wait. Now,
see, I like Star Wars games. It's just something about movies, comics. I'm like, no, but the games, maybe I can get into that.
Have you played Fallen Jedi or
No.
Fallen Order? Okay,
No.
play that game. Play that game.
Okay.
You'll like that game. You will like that game.
Yeah.
It's
play the Lego ones too. The Lego
story
ones.
driven.
Oh, the Lego ones are
Lego's
great.
fun.
I have not played the newest one, but the
Yeah.
Lego ones are great.
Lego ones are cool. They're mad fun. They're full of like nostalgia and you know Easter eggs and stuff like that. But like the other one I'm talking about is very story driven. It's very cinematic. It's like you're playing a movie, but it's not. It's not like any Star Wars movie that's out that I've ever seen. It's its own thing. It's kind of unique, and it tells it's got some stuff that harkens to Legends canon and things like that. So it's mad fun, but
it is.
I've got a weird feeling about part 2, because Jedi don't really use guns. They don't believe in them. But Obi-Wan Kenobi would tell you it's because that they're too uncivilized. Some very smart media critics would tell you that it has something to do with the symbolic importance of the saber and the Campbellian hero's journey. A business analyst might tell you that $200 lightsabers sell too well at Disneyland, and that's why. And I have a different theory, though. I think Jedi leave their blasters at home because sword fighting is just a fucking lot cooler. And now evidence is mounting that in the sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Cal Kestis will brandish a blaster. And I want to be clear that this hasn't been confirmed by EA or, Respawn Entertainment, but Cal has a blaster in an action figure, and a leaked pre-order bonus for the game includes blaster cosmetics. And so this is not bulletproof or blaster-proof evidence that Star Wars Jedi, that it's going to have gunplay but for the sake of argument, let's pretend it is. And let's talk about why probably wouldn't work very well.
Well, remember, Luke had a blaster. He carried one.
Oh yeah, that part I do know.
Before
the first 2 movies,
he started out with that, right?
Yeah, he started
the first
out
two
with
movies. He had a blast in the first 2. Because remember when he pulled a blast on Yoda?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but he wasn't a Jedi yet because, and that's the thing. Like once he became a Jedi, no more blasters, and Jedis never use blasters.
Come on, you got a lightsaber. There's nothing you can't. I mean, why would you need a blaster when you can
godlike?
You
blast
don't need
fire
one.
back at somebody?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why would you need a blaster?
Godlike achievement. Unlocked.
Right. Yeah, but no, you don't need one if you got the saber. And if you're a Jedi, you don't need a blaster. But and like you said, you can do all the same stuff plus more. So like it doesn't.
Just remember, I give you the answer to everybody. This is the answer to everybody's question. Everybody. Remember the hallway scene in Rogue One where Vader came in there in the dark, and all he had was a lightsaber, and he should have been dead. They're the
like
rights.
10 of them with blasters.
Yeah, 10 of them. He took them all out. And now we know for a fact that the Rebel Alliance don't miss, but Stormtroopers do. So there you go. Vader showed him. I don't need no stinking blaster. Watch this.
Star Wars. It's the Jedi: The Fallen Order. The game is in many ways very indebted to the contemporary works of from Software, because the combat is a solid attempt at turning Dark Souls into a straight up sword fighting game. And it plays like a Souls game in a way, but its focus on swordplay above all means that it's usually a game played at very close quarters. And the action is all up close. It's in your face, frenetic. Lots of fun, and plenty of enemies can fire on you from afar, but if you want to take them down, you just block, send the bullet back at them, or you can usually get close if you want, throw your lightsaber, because remember, Jedis can throw their saber and it'll come back to them. So I mean, but imagine the same game, but you have a gun, and so the enemies can fire on you from afar, and you can just fire back, and you can still get up close if you want to. But suddenly an issue arises. Why would you ever do that? Like you just said, Stu, if you have a gun, then it doesn't matter if you also have a lightsaber, because unlike the Jedi in a video game, you're going to use the gun, because the solve for this is to do what Bloodborne did and make the gun pretty much useless although at that point, why have the gun? But if you want to have the gun, it just, I hope it doesn't I hope it's not a choice of use the gun or the saber, because that's just going to make it, and obviously it's not impossible to make the game where shooting is fun. I'm not saying that. And I'm not going to, sit here and say that Respawn Entertainment, the developers of Titanfall, Apex Legends, those are great shooters. And so I know they can make a great shooter. They're very good at that. But if they want to introduce shooting in a Star Wars series, I suspect that it's because that they've found a way to make it fun and interesting, but I just can't. I gotta play it to know. I gotta play it to understand how that's gonna work out. You know what I'm saying? And they must have a good idea of how to integrate shooting into the Star Wars series. But still, I just can't shake the feeling that Fallen Order with a blaster just isn't really Fallen Order anymore. And it seems hard for me to believe that even Respawn Entertainment could make a good shooter that is also a good game focused on swordplay, that also captures the fun of Fallen Order and story and all of that. The way I see it, there's two ways for this to potentially shake out. We could be getting a game that's designed around blaster combat, one that feels really cool, third-person shooter set in the Star Wars universe. And I would not hate that. We also could be getting a game designed around lightsaber combat, one that feels a lot like Fallen Order, and I would also be fine with this. What I struggle to imagine is a game that genuinely blends gunplay and swordplay without losing something from one of the two camps. It just hasn't been done. And, I love the first game, and I like it because it's a gorgeous AAA game where the win condition involves getting in the enemy's face rather than sitting back behind cover until I can line up the perfect headshot. Fallen Order is a very specific game with very specific action. It's possible that, my imagination is just too limited to make sense of this plan, but introducing something that as massive as an entire new mode of combat to the game, it has the potential to totally transform the experience, which has the potential to either make or break, the game, make it not feel like, and it could still be a good game, but just not feel like Fallen Order. And then it's like fans of Fallen Order, but we wanted more Fallen Order. So it could be good, but just not good for them. But success breeds sequels in the video game industry. So this, it's not very surprising that they're making a great sequel to this, but I just hope that it retains the essence of the one we love.
The first one,
the first
that's
one,
true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they did it with what's the other one? Star Killer.
Yeah, shit.
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed. Yeah, one was good, two was better.
Yep. Yeah, two got better. Yeah. Two was better.
Yeah, it's way better.
Yeah. The new series, the Acolyte, does it sort of it has a major connection to the prequel trilogy. You know what I mean? Like it could be good if they, but I'm just, Disney is so afraid of the prequel trilogy, bro. That's why they made the sequel trilogy the way they did. That's why there was no Darth Maul. There was nothing that George Lucas had set up for the sequel trilogy. That's why they scrapped all that, because they felt it harkened back to the prequels too much, and they think that no one likes the prequels, so they wanted to get so far away from it. But the Acolyte series rather is kind of rolling right into that. But the Andor series definitely, I think, closed out the year for us on Disney, man. We're good on Star Wars rather. But next year, I'm gonna give them another shot, bro. They got another shot with me. We'll see what they can give us.
Yeah.
But that sucker got death stroked. Oh yeah, I did drop his ass. But yeah, that'll be cool. But so Saturday, what do we got? Saturday we got DC
We have a lot of content for Saturday.
Yeah, for Saturday.
Because
Yes, we do.
DC's in a dumpster fire again.
Yes, they are.
A lot.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
I was gonna call you. I was gonna call you Saturday. Be like,
yeah, man. So stay tuned, because it's gonna be deep. Nah, but we'll be back Saturday, guys, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 6:30 p.m. New York time, baby. You know where we at. And we'll be here 3 times a week for you. We'll see you Saturday. Peace.
Peace.